Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Friday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, I have been thinking about something I've been wanting to do a video on for quite some time, and for some reason or another, it kept getting put on the back burner, and I never made it. So today, I'm doing the video because something happened to a particular knife that I purchased just recently, and it just couldn't wait no longer. So this may be helpful to you guys. Just hang in there with me just for a second. I'll make it fast. It's important, and it's a good one too. Guys, I just recently purchased this little novelty knife here that I got from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. And I really like this knife a lot. I mean a lot. For a $4 knife, I just like the look of it. I really like the look of it. It's just a nice looking knife. It really is to me. And it's actually a functional blade. But there was one problem. Let me try and show you this. But there was one problem. It came very, very, very dirty. Very dirty. And the more I cleaned it, the more I kept getting just dirt out of... I just kept getting dirt out of the back spring. Now, it's very important. That back spring now, it took a couple of days to get that back spring and that gook all out of this little $4 blade. God only knows how they assembled this little, it's like pot, how do they call that? Like pot metal. It's like pot metal. And it's assembled so cheap, but it could actually become a good little knife if you take care of it. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. If you take your KPL, okay, you got your KPL right here. I use this stuff for everything. Everything. If I don't use this, second best, or actually better than this, because is mineral oil. You could actually use the mineral oil on your knives because it's food safe. Anyway, long story short, what you do is you drip a couple of drips of oil, KPL, all down that back spring right there, down that back spring, and turn it upward like this, and set it down on something, and let it sit there, and let it seep into the cracks. It'll get all through there. Just forget about it and let it sit there. When you go back in 5 or 10 minutes to look at it, the oil will be all dissipated and you won't see it sitting on top of there. It'll be all in there. Then what you do is take your cloth or whatever you have. I just use an old cloth, or you could use a napkin. A pretty durable napkin. And just start wiping vigorously on the back spring. Open your blades up. Okay, open your blades up. And this is the great thing about it. Open your blades up and get inside that blade well. Stick it down in there, your napkin or your whatever you're using, and start scrubbing in that blade well. Do that a couple of times. Basically until you don't have no black and yellow. I was getting yellow, I was getting like yellow thick gunk. The blades weren't really opening and closing very well. It was extremely dirty, and I really wanted to love this knife. Now I love it because the action on it is completely fine. The spring action on it with the blade opening and closing is, watch. Let me see if I could get this for you. Opens and closes just, you saw it, opens and closes just fine. Now, when I first got this knife, it took a lot of work to clean this knife up. Even the scales were dirty. I was wiping it with my hands, and my fingers were getting black. I just kept scrubbing and flushing and scrubbing and flushing. But most importantly, my tip is just that back spring. Just keep, drip a couple drips all the way across that back spring and just let it sit there. Let it sit there. When you go back to look at it, if you don't see no drips of oil on the top of it, it all dissipated in that blade well. That's exactly what you want. Now everything's properly lubricated and everything is flushed and cleaned. Then the ends where they open and close, that is the kicker too. You gotta just keep on dripping that KPL in there, working the blade back and forth, working the blade back and forth, and just getting a little thin. You see how thin that opening is? A thin little piece of napkin, and just working it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you'll see that little piece of napkin, how black it is. How black it is, the ends. And then you just clean the outside. The outside's easy. That's the easy part. But look how nice it came up. Now, this knife was hurting. This knife was hurting, and I was not certain whether I wanted to buy any more or not for the collection. I really want to have these in my collection, not for the money, just because I think that they look so nice. They look so nice, and it is a very functional knife. It can be a very nice little knife for $4. I just wanted to show you, that goes for all of your 1095, 1075 high carbon steels. Clean it like that. Your traditionals. Try to clean your traditionals like that. Because I'm telling you, you will just keep getting black and you'll be getting frustrated that you cannot clean them properly. Just try it. It takes a while to clean them properly and flushing your new blade with 1095 high carbon steel. It takes a while to keep flushing it. When you look at that rag and you no longer see dark black and it's just light grayish, then you're pretty much cool, because you're always going to get a little grayish on your rag in darkness. It'll just keep, I mean, you're never going to be able to get it totally clean like that. As long as it's, you know, really light grayish, and that's pretty clean. At that point, that's pretty clean. Last but not least, I have been enjoying the heck out of this little Stockman from Ryder, because it has the half stops. I did the same thing with I do the same thing with all my knives, man, to get the action to where I want it. But anyway, this one I wanted to talk to you guys about. If you have this knife, sharpen this knife up with that VG10. You guys tell me how sharp that VG10 gets. I sharpen these blades, and guys, I cannot tell you how sharp I got this VG10. I'm trying to get a shot of it. The blade. Look at that. You can't hardly even touch it. You can't really rub it across your finger. It is scary sharp. It makes the hairs on your arm stand up when you touch it. It's sticky sharp, guys. That's what VG10 gets you. VG10 went out a long time ago. Back in the day, VG10 was super popular. They put VG10 on a lot of knives back in the day. You know, a lot of your Spydercos and all that, but VG10 gets so sharp. That's another reason why I got this old Stockman, for the VG10 and the half stops. I like half stops on my knives. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, man. Please, let me know. And do this with all your traditionals with the high carbon steel. I'm telling you, try the trick. Sprinkle a little all the way down that back spring. And just set it like this. And let it sit there and let it seep through. Then go back and start wiping vigorously the back and forth on the spring. Then open the blades up and do inside the well. You'll do that like, man, I've been working on this knife now, like I said. I mean, I've been at it I walk over to it and clean it like a couple days. I've been at this little knife because every time I look at it, I clean it. I'm like that. I'm anal. So every time I walk over to my little bench here and I look at it and hold it, I'm like, that's a cool little knife. I just sprinkle it with a little oil. And I coated it with a little oil on the outside with my fingers. I put a little KPL on my fingers and I went like this. Across the blade, across the, the scales, just lightly coated it with oil. And now it's nice and shiny and cleaned up. Action is good on it. Back spring's cool. But man, this thing needed help. When it first came, I was like, whoa. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get it back. But there you go, guys. Let me know what you guys think, man, please. Guys, it's a crazy world out there. Stick with me. And leave me a comment, please, guys. I'm doing the best I can here. I need your input. Thanks, guys. Take care.